Are you going to campaign with President Trump?
Yeah, I'm expecting to see him very shortly in New York. I spoke to him 3 times last week. He is really excited about my campaign because he sees that we really have an opportunity here to make this state red and to put it back out of its death spiral, create economic development, prosperity, and make people happy again.
That was Maria speaking with New York gubernatorial candidate Bruce Blakeman weeks ago on this program. And now the plan to get President Trump on the campaign trail with him. The president will be on Long Island, New York today to campaign as Blakeman is making New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani a central target of that campaign. The mayor, meanwhile, backing Governor Kathy Hochul for re-election. Look at this. New Siena poll shows Blakeman cutting Hochul's lead to just 10 points, down from a 20-point lead back in June. Blakeman also telling Maria about his confidence ahead of November. Watch this.
I can guarantee you one thing, Maria. On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the next governor of the state of New York. People are miserable in New York State. Nobody likes Kathy Hochul. She's the worst governor in America. We have economic stagnation. We are number 50 in economic development. We are number 1 on taxing our own people. We spent $11 billion on illegal migrants who aren't New Yorkers. That's New York taxpayer money that's being spent on people that don't even belong here. She doesn't back the blue. It's time to fire Kathy Hochul, get back to good old-fashioned economic development principles of capitalism, increase jobs, have better-paying jobs, better wages, work with organized labor to produce more jobs with an apprentice program in our community colleges, cut taxes, cut electric bills, and create prosperity. I am now winning in all of the contested congressional districts. I'm either winning or I'm tied with her. This is a horse race that I'm going to win because people don't like Kathy Hochul's policies. I'm ready to support my record of achievement in a county larger than 8 states with 110,000 more Democrats that I won in the last election by a landslide of 12 points.
Joining me now, the chairman and CEO of United Refining Company, Red Apple Group, Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarket, John Catsimatidis. John, Lee Zeldin came close, but Bruce Blakeman might just do it, you think?
Well, you know, you got to... Mamdani, Zohran, the mayor of the city of New York, has a lot of negatives. They put out 975,000 notices to New Yorkers that you might get taxed. And that really annoyed a lot of people.
It's scary.
I would say it could be closer to a horse race than not. These polls in the last 5 years, nobody believes those polls. Those polls are not working. In the old-fashioned days, they used to call your home phone. You used to answer it. You used to be home. Now, if they call your cell phone, you might be sitting on the beach in Bahamas. You know, nobody knows where you are. And polls don't work. I think it's going to be a closer race because the governor has oversight on the mayor of the city of New York. And if the people are annoyed or scared at the mayor, they could take it out on the governor.
Who do you think has control of who? Is she pushing Mamdani more to the center, or is Mamdani pushing her? Is he pushing Hochul more to the left?
Well, he just endorsed her. I would say he's pushing her more to the left.
Let's see how that lands in New York because of this. There's a new Siena poll. It finds 30% of New Yorkers view the Democratic Socialists of America favorably, 30%. While 47% view it unfavorably. Support craters when you go out to the suburbs. Meanwhile, Mamdani is attempting to distance himself from one key DSA issue. Now he says he does not support defunding the police. Isn't that convenient? And he's going to work with the NYPD on public safety. Do you believe him?
I want to believe him. You know, I don't want to say negative things. People, New Yorkers, deserve to be safe. Our kids and grandkids deserve to be safe. Our wives deserve to be safe. Now, the other thing we have, this congestion pricing. It's killing our city. Don't get me started. And motorcycles, the motorcycles and the... I mean, you can't cross the street without almost getting killed. I mean, is really, really. It's getting, the quality of life is starting to be taxed. And don't forget, all these taxes. The power to tax. The power to tax is the power to destroy.
Yeah, and a lot of people are leaving.
And it's taxes on top of taxes on top of taxes.
And they keep thinking of more taxes because they need to think of ways to fund their agenda and make everything free. But I was surprised, 30%, deep blue New York. 30% view socialism in a favorable light. I thought that number here would be a lot higher, and I think that is very encouraging. Meanwhile, you have this. I know you have a lot to say about this, John. The mayor is throwing $70 million behind a plan for 5 city-run grocery stores, promising products at 30% below typical retail. The New York Post editorial board calling the business plan fantasy. They write this: these imaginary stores must be managed under a business plan out of Alice in Wonderland. Private grocers and bodega owners warning that these government-backed stores could put additional pressure on businesses already operating on razor-thin margins. You own grocery stores. What's your take? Will these city-run grocery stores, all 5 of them, are they really ever going to get built?
They may get built, but to build 5 stores for $70 million, and then they're looking for an operator to run them, and I think they have like 5 candidates, 7 candidates, and they're not going to charge them any rent, real estate taxes, or any kind of taxes. If you didn't charge me any rent or real estate taxes, I could take 20% off the entire store. Not specific items. Yeah, I can make the whole store 20% cheaper.
That's capitalism. That's like a bad word here.
Well, I like Zohran. President Trump likes Zohran. He's a.
But can you make him a capitalist?
He's 34 years old. He went to Bronx Science High School. He's a smart guy. Maybe he'll convert.
Well, your lipstick.
Oh, I could dream.
I have you here.
Can I dream?
Keep dreaming. Let's talk oil prices. About $82 a barrel this morning. We have this ongoing situation in the Middle East, but the IEA, so that's the International Energy Agency, is projecting that worldwide supply is going to fall by 4.3 million barrels a day this year. They also cut their outlook for demand. When you look at the oil that's clogged in the Strait and gas prices going up for drivers here in the U.S., I mean, are we one hurricane away from a supply shock because we're exporting so much oil, because not as much oil is coming in through the Middle East?
Absolutely not.
You're confident?
The United States of America, North America, we have 100% supply. The prices should not even be as high as they are because we're servicing the Europeans, we're servicing the Asians, they're buying it off the Gulf Coast. And the Europeans, the Asians, the oil companies in the OPEC nations, they'd love to see $150 oil. They're going to make $1 zillion, but it's not going to happen. See how smart our country is? We have, even because of the war, even because of the Strait, we've managed to keep oil at $80, maybe 10% above norm, which is great.
Not only that, we managed to produce more than ever and export.
And we're making more and more of it. Drill, and that's what President Trump is doing.
I said from day one on this oil story that, yes, the Strait of Hormuz is important. No one's going to say it's not. But it will never be as important as it was on February 28th. Ever again, because you have all these bypass pipelines and you have this flotilla of ships heading to the U.S. Gulf Coast to pick up their energy.
We have found a way around it. There's, some of these people that were saying $150 oil. Well, what did President Trump used to say? I don't want to say it on the air. They're full of whatever.
John Catsimatidis, have yourself
Thank you so much.
Try to stay off the roads headed out east because the president will be there with me.
Well, he's going to be in Nassau County, and it's going to be a little crowded.